Hey, what's up, Johnny? Nim, welcome. So glad to see you guys. How are you? How is everybody? I was on a trip. We went to New Hampshire, and we had a good visit with a friend of the channel, Daniel Warren. Me and my beautiful wife, we met up with Dan in New Hampshire and stayed at his cabin. We had dinner with him. It was a wonderful time. And then on the way back, we went to Vermont, stayed there for a couple of days, had a lovely time, and yeah, it was great. It was really wonderful, guys. We spent so much time, like, we've had a really rough couple of months, so like we really needed to just relax, and we spent a lot of time just like sitting by a fire, like literally starting our fireplace. I learned how to start a fire. I never really started a fire in a fireplace. It's a particular thing, but it's not that hard once you realize I hadn't really grown up camping or anything like that, or even not camping, but like doing vacations. We didn't really do stuff like that when I was a kid, and not in cabins anyway. But yeah, we started a fire in the fireplace and spent much of the rainy weather in Vermont watching the leaves fall, these beautiful autumn leaves, and just sitting with a crackling fire and listening to the rain fall and reading. And I was working on this page. This page you see here right now. Sitting there on my iPad, watching the fire, drawing, listening to rain. It was really great. And we just got back like maybe an hour or two ago. And it is my wife's birthday, so she went out to see some friends who were in town to visit her. And I'm here with you, my lovely friends. How are you guys doing? Yeah, I've been out of reach. I gotta catch up with you guys. I've been completely out of the loop for like, like 4 or 5 days was the whole trip, I think. Well, you say you're jealous, but Nim, don't you live in like, aren't you out in Michigan? Isn't that like beautiful this time of year? And that is you, right? That's in Michigan, unless I'm thinking of someone else in the chat. Oh, I didn't know that. Do you have any way of getting out to nature? I know that you're probably not driving at the moment, right? Or let me know, are you? That sucks, man. I'm sorry. That's lame. Johnny says, I just finished the book Bram Stoker, Dracula, and Phantom of the Opera. Oh, both books. And also, it's cooling off here in Arkansas. Whew. Johnny, tell me your thoughts on Bram Stoker's Dracula. I've never read Phantom of the Opera, but Bram Stoker's Dracula is a book I really enjoyed. That really stinks, Nim. You know what I'd love to do? I know it's not safe to do this, but like I wish I could, through my modicum of reach, I could like find somebody in Michigan who'd be willing or happy to meet up with you, and I mean it like take you on nature hikes and stuff, just because it's like it's a shame that you'd be missing out on how beautiful this is this time of year. Nim, if I lived near you, I would just like come by and hang out and pick you up and drive you around. Honestly, that would be like, that would make me so happy to be able to do that. Because it's really not fair. Has the discomfort been okay? I know that the medical issues you had have been very touch and go. Has it improved lately? Is it up and down? It's okay if you don't want to talk about it. I understand, but since you brought it up, you know, I just figured I'd get a checkup on that, because I know you're so positive, Nim, that sometimes I forget what you're dealing with, because you're like such an upbeat person when you're in the chat. You're very like, you're never ever. And you have every reason to like kind of feel sorry for yourself, and you never do. So people might take that for granted, but I don't want to. So question stands. Like, how are you? Ooh, Nim, tell us about the Dracula tapes. I don't even know if I've heard about this. The Dracula tapes, this sounds cool. What's happening now is I'm realizing there's not enough spot blacking in this image. So Jesse, this villain here, this Cthulhu-looking cowboy, he looks a little flat. That's why I'm adding in more black, more spot blacking, meaning chunks of shadow, because he needs more contrast. He needs to pop more. There's a little too much noodling and not enough like heavy paint to give him some presence. You see, he's already looking a little better. Oh my goodness, chat. I missed so much. Nim says about the Dracula tapes. So it's a book which is basically a recorded interview with Dracula about his side of things and how he survived said story. Oh, cool. Sounds a bit like Interview with a Vampire. Oh, that's literally your follow-up comment. Someone took a note from Interview with a Vampire and basically wrote a version of the Count's side of things. That's cool. Johnny says, "Begone, Dracula, away with ye." Johnny's always saying that, though. That's like how he says hello. I think it might be an Arkansas culture thing. I don't know. Y'all are weird. I remember reading it as in the local library, over a decade and a half ago. I know, I have those moments too where you realize how far away childhood was. It's scary. She's no, wait, only half a decade. Okay, that's not so bad. What's up, guy? Please lurk. I enjoy your lurking. Sitting in your trench coat in the back of the theater. Is Guy wearing anything under that trench coat? You don't know. That's how the man operates. Johnny says, I would listen to his side of the story, but would then strike with all the holy fury I could. Oh, thanks, Guy. Yeah, I think it's almost done. I'm going to add a few little details to it, but I'm pretty sure this is This was I drew this last night. This whole page, I drew almost the entire thing last night while sitting in front of a crackling fire in Vermont while rain tapped against the windows and leaves fell outside. Absolutely peak experience. Ooh, I think I have a pimple growing. I had sweets. I had some cheesecake. There's this famous I think it's the Skeet. Yeah, I think it's this part of New York on the way back, passing through Vermont into New York, and there's this the Skeet Convent, I think it's called. I kept making Skeet jokes, but where it's actually a convent where they make cheesecake. It's like these nuns who support themselves by making cheesecake. Incredible cheesecake, and I bought a bunch of it, and I ate a bunch, and I basically had it for dinner, which I never do. I never have like sweets for dinner, but it's cheesecake. It's so full of cheese, it like I've been cutting back on sweets recently, so then having all that sugar, I'm like I was on a high, and now I want to curl up and take a nap inside a coffee mug like a kitten. Yeah, guy, you should definitely catch. You should hop on a stream again soon. We should chat. Yeah, the cheesecake is really good, and it's made by these like really sweet, these like really cute old nuns. I don't know. I didn't get to meet any of the nuns. I actually met the lady who runs the place, who is not a nun. She's like just operates a store. I guess the nuns aren't allowed to do the register or something, but I just imagine like all the nuns from like Sister Act, just kind of in like a little kitchen baking cheesecake and singing. I don't know. It seems like a very nice life that they have. And then up the road, this was really cool. So up the road is this like Orthodox monastery where these monks live who are a part of the same congregation, you know, separated but same. And they're famous for they're like dog trainers. Like they're actually world renowned. And I realized when they were talking about it, I had heard of them. I had seen an interview with this guy who lived with them for like a couple of months. He was on, I don't know, was it Joe Rogan or something? I don't know. But he had lived with them for like a month or two, and or maybe even more, living with these monks who like they don't take necessarily a vow of silence, but they go a long time without talking, from what I remember, and they raise like German shepherds essentially. And he said that it was like this incredibly peaceful life they live, and they were like masters. They're masters at training dogs. Like they're incredible. And the lady who works there was like, "Oh, you should see them. If you see them with a dog, it's like they speak a certain language, and the dog just gets it, and will, you know." And they're really good with dogs, and they're so good with it that people are like kind of on a wait list to have your dog like taught by them, so that you can like leave off your dog and pick them up, and then it's like this animal who's like suddenly the greatest dog ever, you know. I don't know. It's just really cool. I thought that I wanted to see more of it, but I went to go, and I've never really seen an Eastern Orthodox church. It's really beautiful. The design is very different than the Catholic stuff. It's much more like Byzantine, and kind of parts of it almost look like it could be like a church in like Turkey or something. Like they have these different designs and shapes of the architecture, and the artwork inside was much more like Byzantine. Like it was very pre-Renaissance. Like that seems to be intentional, that they're focusing on a certain point where they, I guess, broke off from the church or from the Catholic Church and did their own thing. But very few people seem to be able to tell me what the actual difference is between Orthodox and Catholic in terms of like beliefs. I have no idea. Apparently we're that similar. But I really wish I could have. I saw they had a bunch of books on how they train dogs, and that the guys, the monks themselves, wrote these books on like how to understand dogs, and it's very cool. I had a really good time. The whole trip was great, but that was a fun little... And we almost didn't do it, if you can believe that. We were so close to skipping that part of the trip because we were just like, I knew she wanted to get back. It's my wife's birthday, so I was like, you probably want to get back and see your friends, you know. But then she was like, no, we should do this because you're really going to like this. She's like, you're probably really going to like this because I love churches and that type of artwork, and I love cheesecake, and I love dogs. So many things. Now, it's possible that I'm adding too many highlights, too many rim lights, excuse me. But who's to say? Gee, Ryan, do you need a rim light for that rim light? I just can't stop myself sometimes. It just makes things look so cool. But I don't know, maybe this is too much. Maybe I don't need this extra. And then of course I'm going to do the Ryan thing. I'm going to duplicate the layer. I'm going to blur it out to make it look like a shiny thing is happening. You know, like that. I mean, come on. Rim light. Maybe I should just remove this. No, the other rim light's great. I don't want to lose. I'll do both. It's fine. Or maybe, I don't know. Maybe I can delete this first one. This one. I don't know. Maybe they both belong. Pretty happy with this page. It's got like a very it feels like something out of like an 80s music video, which is sort of my taste. I don't know. At least these days I'm definitely into that. Let me see. I'm going to see if I can download some kind of cool pattern for this because I'm not working in Procreate at the moment, and in Procreate, I have a million lace brushes that I can use to create a pattern on this pillar so it looks like design without me having to manually draw every stitch of it. And in Clip Studio, that stuff is a little bit harder to find, I have found. But I'm going to see if I can find something. Everybody hold up. Let me check the chat. Let me check the chat first. It is. It just makes it kind of like makes the image pop in the way that's it's addictive. It's like, oh yeah, look at that, you know. But I probably should stop relying on it so much. And you see, some of these are brushes I already have. Let me see. because I'm trying to keep in mind this is like a pillar on the Rutland Express, so it's going to have some nice design elements. And I'm trying to give it some sense of that this is like an aspect of design that people are trying to make this place so beautiful just so my characters can go and destroy it, I guess. Let's see, maybe like this, maybe a circle. It doesn't look so bad. You know what? This might be good. I might leave this as is. What do you guys think of this page? Oh, thanks, Nim. This is actually a page, an insert, because I jumped from the last page of them charging into the fight, and then in the next page they're like, they're in it, but I was like, oh, you need like a transitional page of them jumping in, like a big splash page to get the audience ready for the showdown. Now I'm going to quickly resave it to a CMYK format. I'll show you guys the difference. Still going to take a second, I guess. Another page done. Despite being gone this weekend, I finished 2 pages. I polished off the final panel of that other page I was working on during the last stream, and I started and finished this one, so I feel pretty good about... I mean, you should be... Listen, you're allowed to take days off. My wife kept saying, you're allowed to take time off, and I was like, I know, but I really need to get this done. I need to show people this comic. Like, I need for this to be, I just... I don't want to be one. I don't. I want. By the time I get to Christmas, I want to have a book ready that I can show people, because I've been working really hard on it, and I want to be able to say that I put out book 2 a year after book 1. If it takes longer than that, it starts to feel like the interest might cool down. Plus, I just don't want to take that long. I want to. I'm impatient, so. I say I'm impatient. I've been drawing this for like 8 months at this point. But I was looking at the length of certain things I'm going to do, and I was like, oh, you know what? I'm pretty sure I can get book 2 slightly under the page count of book 1, which means I might be able to charge a little bit less, perhaps. Or I was thinking, because I can get the story done. So right now, guys, I'm at page 43 or 44 is what I just finished yesterday, the page after this one. And I was like looking at my, because my script doesn't have a page count. My script is written almost like a screenplay, and I kind of figured out as I draw it. I could probably get the main story done at like 65 to 70 pages. And if I want to keep the page count for book 1 was 84, so if book 2 goes to like, if I get it to 70 pages and finish it, I can be under the length of book 1 and not have to worry about pricing it too much or anything, while still adding some things here and there. I was thinking about adding some fun little lore stuff in the back. I was thinking about adding bits from Adelaide, the leading lady of this issue. I know you haven't really seen her yet. Like, you've seen her, but you haven't gotten to read her yet. But she's like, I thought it'd be really cool if I had diary excerpts from her, because she's like almost like an anthropologist of the Raptured West. So it would be like her notes on the things that she saw during this adventure. And that would include like her explanation of what these bad guys are, the Simonde brothers, like her her sort of witch scientist, analysis of the creatures they're facing, and like, accompanied by my sketches and obviously my art, as a way of like, but as if it's her sketches, her remembering and talking about it. I don't know. Or like a map of the dark territory they're riding through, or some fun background stuff. I thought it'd be fun to include maybe like little newspaper clippings from this world. The Raptured West has got like old school, like old school printing press newspaper stuff, and that you would see, little headlines that, I don't know. There's a lot you can do, and also just including some art that didn't even make it as a cover. Like, instead of, because I have some things I did that I thought would be the cover art for book 2. I think I did it live, and I'm like, oh, you know what? Maybe they'll make this like a chapter head and do a different, because I think maybe for the cover I want to do a wraparound cover, which I'll try to do that on stream, like a big, maybe painted wraparound cover with all the characters, like something really crazy for book 2. And I'll take that initial illustration and I'll make it like a little splash page at the end of the book. I don't know. There's a lot of things you can do, so thinking about all of it, really. Oh, what's up, Broken Blade? Yeah, no, you're right, BB. I actually wanted to do some lore videos, mostly because I think it'd be really fun. I just haven't, it's been the past 2 months where I can't tell you guys some of it because a lot of it's personal, and, I also don't want to bore you with it. But the past 2 months have been, not even the past 2 months, literally the month of September, it was like so much catastrophically stressful things happened to us as a couple that I was like, I was blown away at how stressful we were having a honeymoon phase after the wedding where everything was fine, we were chill, stress free, and then it was just like bam bam bam, like everything got really tough. And we're climbing out now, and this little 5-day trip we did was like really needed, because we were like, but as a result, for that month and a half or so, everything that was not paid work or Black Marrow I had to put aside, so I didn't get to do any new YouTube videos. I had a whole thing I wanted to record, but now things are smoothing out, and maybe I get a chance to do it, because I want to do I want to start doing lore videos of the world of Black Marrow, and use that to gain some new interest. Also, just because I think it'll be fun. And I love editing videos, you guys. It is so fun to like pick the right music and sound effects, and it's like a big issue that a lot of YouTubers face when they're doing this type of content that I'm talking about is that like they have to find images. They have to keep finding images they can use, which is not my problem, you know, because it's like that's not a problem I have. I mean, because I have like literally hundreds and hundreds of pages of artwork, published and unpublished, that I can just use, and it makes the video seem so much more professional, even though I don't know what I'm doing at all. I have like bare bones editing skills, but that's the great thing about DaVinci Resolve. I really can't recommend it. I haven't paid a dime. It's totally free if you want it to be, and I've been able to learn a lot and put out some pretty nice, you know, shiny little videos without having to pay anything. And I was able to learn within a day. I was able to like edit a video, a short one, you know, in a very minimal way, and then over time I've been building my understanding of it. Because it's just a really intuitive application. Yeah, for you too, Nim. Yeah, September was rough for a lot of people. I don't know, just a lot of bad things happened. Not just globally, but just like, it just seems like it was a dark month for a lot of people. And I was no different. I was not spared. I was hit hard. But, but enough of that. Things, I mean, listen, we're alive, we have our health. I'm grateful. Okay, now I'm going to resave this as a CMYK. And I'm going to see how the color changes. Can't wait to show you guys. This is going to be crazy. Here, let me zoom in so you can see some of the details I did here on this. This was mostly drawn on Procreate, and I'm just sort of finishing the page here. Oh yeah, those colors are popping. Wow. CMYK makes these greens really pop. Hey honey, I'm streaming. Can you shut the video off if you want to come talk to me? My wife wants to talk to me, but she's too shy. She just got home. She's mouthing at me. She's like, video or not video? Are you on video? I'm like, yes. So for anyone unfamiliar, you often, for me, I like to draw the pages in RGB color format, and then I like to save them into CMYK afterwards, because it makes the colors pop a lot, and it's mostly because CMYK is really good for print. So this is RGB, and it's like really good for digital if someone's going to be viewing the page digitally. But this is the CMYK, and basically what it does, CMYK stands for cyan, magenta, yellow, and something else. I forget. I think I'm right about that. I don't know. But what it basically does is it accentuates certain colors and really makes them pop, so that when you go to print, it'll just, you see that? It'll just make those colors pop a little more, because RGB, whenever you bring something to print, some of the colors are always going to be tuned down a little bit. It's just how it is. They're just less vibrant than they are on the digital image. So when you save a CMYK, it actually accentuates the colors a lot in a way that makes them pop even more than you initially intended. But when you print it out, it kind of pulls back and ends up closer to what you initially intended. You know, you get what I'm saying? So this is RGB, CMYK. It might look the same on your screens, but I can see a difference here. Yeah, I see. I'm looking at the playback, and on the stream, you really can't tell the difference that much. It's like it looks exactly the same, really. But I promise you, that I see the difference. K stands for black. Thank you, Broken Blade. Which I think is funny because the black in CMYK actually reads much lighter. It tends to, and I think it's because when things are printed, they print a little darker. Interestingly, Black Marrow 1 I actually printed as RGB. And so it's actually, Black Marrow 1 is pretty dark and desaturated, and it actually wasn't meant to be that dim. But then when I looked at the proof copy, I kind of liked it. I was like, oh, this actually works pretty well. And the printer was like, and even my wife was like, you should probably keep it like this because it looks better like this. I was like, okay. For this book, for book 2, I'm doing CMYK, so it's going to be, the colors in book 2 are going to be a little more vibrant than book 1. They're not going to be quite as muted. And we'll see if that works for people or not. Some of that is because the environment of book 2 is very different than book 1. Book 1 is it's like in a haunted castle, and you know, the woods and my cat's watching me, and the woods and the mountains. It's got this, like, you know, it can afford to be dim, but because the background in book 2 is like so much more complex and there's so much more happening, you know, there's like lots of structure and design, and I can't really afford to mute the colors that much. I really need them to pop, so that there's more visual differentiation between the inside of the train and the outside. You know, the outside of the train has like Lovecraft monsters and ghosts flying through the sky, and then the inside of the train is gonna be like warm colors, and you know, or not in this case. This is a train car infested with ghouls, so it's not gonna be the same. But you get what I'm saying. I'll be on for a few more minutes, and then I'm gonna pop off. Johnny says, I use CMY as often as I remember to when I use an airbrush because the colors mix very well for me. Oh, interesting. So you render in CMY. See, I don't render in CMY. I render in RGB because I like to do it and then save it as CMY and then see how the colors change, because I find it very satisfying to see the blues and magentas and everything pop so much. Because it almost feels like, oh my god, did I do that? Was I the guy who drew this? It's like, it's got this nice, it's very satisfying feeling to it of like, you know, can't believe that happened, so to speak. But Yeah, see, this is the part of the process is when I finish a page like this, I just sit there and I stare at it for a bit and I go, okay, yeah, nice. So, but now, because I added this page where Pretty Boy Ned's getting cut across the face by Black Marrow's scythe, that means when I get to page 44, I gotta add a cut here across his face for continuity. Because now it's gotta be, otherwise people could misread that as like, oh, he has a healing factor like Wolverine. It's like he doesn't. It is not. That is not what I intended. See, this was really helped, this area, by going in and adding more spot blacking and not letting it just be all noodle lines. Like I had to add more black shadow here because Jesse was really not popping. He was falling to the back too much because he has such a muted tone that he's starting to be Jesse's starting to become Swamp Thing. I have to be careful. I have to like maybe hike up the saturation a bit because he's starting to look very very Swamp Thingy. The greens are maybe a little too gray, and maybe I need to accentuate the blues. The thing is, I didn't want to do too much blue because it's just there's already a lot of blue. There's already a lot of green too. Interestingly, you guys might find this fun. One of the characters I've always wanted to work on, when I was a kid even, was to draw a Swamp Thing book. Because it's like, as you might expect based on this, it's like my two favorite things. It's like superheroes and monsters. And I love Swamp Thing. He's so cool. Oh, maybe that'd be a cool thing to do is for like a Halloween stream sometime this month. I'll do like a Swamp Thing illustration. I don't know. Maybe this isn't the month for it, guys, because I've got to get more Black Marrow done. This is the Halloween season. This is the time for it, I don't know. Let me check the chat. Sorry, I hope I didn't cough into the mic. So compositionally, what I was trying to do with this page is to form I'll show you, two parallel lines. So this is just for anybody who's interested in like process and all that. So here's one parallel line, and here's the other, right? So it's Black Marrow cutting him. It forms, you see how Black Marrow's body forms this nice parallel line that goes up into the arms pretty smoothly, and his body conforms to it, his shoulders and head and the movement. And then you get Canterbury here, who's looking upward, and his shoulder forms it and the pillar forms it. It's like you see these, like, it's like this is the type of stuff you do. Oh, and his head here. And then I'm reinforcing it with the swoop. It's like the swoop of the blade. And even if you look at the bend of his arms, right here and here, they're generally going in the same parallel direction. The point is to really let the eye swim in this space without it. I'm trying to avoid tangents that would cause it to fight, Like I had to move this axe because if the axe started to touch this area, like where it got to his arm, it would have been a problem. Like if the axe had been here, too high up, or then if it's too low, it interrupts his shoulder, and then it's like everything. His foot needs. This is kind of a tangent. This is like kind of a problem, actually. Oh, you know what? Let me fix that. October, says Nim. The month when you have to get a million things done, and none can be started early. Feels like, or else people say you're rushing it. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Lone Wolf? Yeah, Lone Wolf. If you look into it, like YouTube has some good videos on it. RGB versus CMYK. It's good. It'll help out quite a bit. All right, guys. I'm sorry this was a short one tonight. Started late, but I'll try and do another one tomorrow earlier in the day if I can. Just chilling out with you guys while I work on some other pages for a client. And yeah, thanks so much for showing up, guys. You have a good night, all right? Love you both. Love you both. Love you all. All 10 of you watching. It's a good night. Thanks so much for being here, and it's really nice to be back. And let's hope October is not quite as stressful as September for all of us. We had a good spooky month. The last half of the month. Let's get spooked.